Hello and welcome back to the Only Fools Love Horses YouTube channel. What a big weekend just gone by. Save the Last Dance was incredible in the Irish Oaks, trading at nearly 1,000 to 1 in running and getting up under a masterclass of Ryan Moore. We've got another Group 1 to look forward to this weekend. Ryan Moore could be the winner's enclosure again with another classic winning horse in Auguste Rodin. Obviously, it could be King George Glory for the boys of Ballydoyle. Lee, it's just me and you. Harry skived off. Thank God, no more shite tips of his going on. But Lee, how are you, King George weekend?
Yeah, really looking forward to the King George. Hopefully, all of them go. Unsure if they will, but even if you get like half of the field, it's still going to be a good race. It's going to be one to save, I would have said. And yeah, I think it was Crystal Ocean and Enable when they were going hammer and tongue for it. I think that was a cracking race, but I can see this being a corker as well.
No, it really, really could be a fantastic race. You got Auguste Rodin, King of Steel, Emily Upjohn, Hookham. That's the top 4 in the market. And you've got Group 1 winners galore behind that, so it's should be a fantastic race. But we'll quickly just touch on what's just gone on the weekend. Obviously, a big weekend. Save the Last Dance getting up the brilliant Irish Oak. She wasn't obviously the greatest filly that was running that weekend. That was Autumn Angel winning over at Bath for Tony Carroll, obviously.
Yeah.
But the second best was Save the Last Dance. And Lee, you did put this up. You put it up on the Which Bookie column, which is going very successfully as well. 2 Trixies landed last week. It's it must have been a stressful watch for you, Save the Last Dance.
It was stressful. Look, once my chance is gone, or if my bet's gone, I don't worry about it. It's gone. Like I just try and save the race after that. Your eyes always drawn to what you're back. I thought, oh well, that's a chance gone. When she got headed by, I can't remember what horse it was on the outside there, but
it wasn't Blue Stocking, was it, or Library?
It might have been Blue Stocking. I think Blue Stocking. Yeah. And once she went by, and I thought, well, that's the game's up, And I think that's probably, I'm unsure where she hit the max on the exchanges, but the way he rallied her and got her going again. She takes some getting going, I would have said. We did mention last week, I think that was the case at Epsom. She just takes a lot of winding up, and it's the same at Chester. She was kind of behind the bridle, and she powered on at the end, and she done the same again, and maybe it's a step up and trip, or who knows where she'll go next. I presume she's probably Arc-boundish, or
I suppose maybe because the Arc's been soft ground the last couple of years now, and you'd say in an Arc, that nice long straight going into it kind of thing. You'd say,
yeah, I think that's key to her.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be worried backing her on good ground now. Like if it was over 1 mile 4, I know the lads think she like after Chester they're like the lads, they said after Chester oh, she's going to be a much better horse on good ground. I don't know, maybe pedigree wise, yeah, but I don't know. She takes up some stoking and 1 mile 6 maybe, but she just looks like she raced a bit behind the bridle, and once she goes. She takes a big stride on her kind of thing, So I don't know. I thought it was fantastic. She's a brilliant horse, but I'd want to see her staying to soft ground wherever she can, really, and I'd probably be avoiding her if she went decent ground.
What about? I did like the way Warm Heart stayed on. People are drawn to Save the Last Dance, so they probably wouldn't have even seen she was out the back of the telly at one point. But if you actually watch it back, she was staying on really strongly. If she was actually, not that she wasn't put in the race, but if she was actually a lot closer, then I think she'll be there near the line. I would have said it's worth watching back. Warm Heart, I thought, was an eye catcher in the race as well, to be fair.
Look, I like Warm Heart, and I think in a race, I know it sounds probably silly to say it, but also it's probably what everyone's thinking, kind of thing. Like if she goes into a race as the main Ballydoyle hope, then I think she's got a fantastic chance of being that sort of that horse kind of thing. But Say the Last Dance, she was second in in an Epsom Oaks. She won a Chester Oaks. Like, then to go and do the Irish Oaks, that's just fantastic for her pedigree and her breeding career going on. And like warm heart conditions maybe probably didn't go her way, soft ground and like proper heavy ground. I think I was listening to Pat Healy, the photographer, and he said they had a massive downpour as the jockeys were coming out of the weighing room, and it stuck around kind of thing. Yeah. So like it wasn't the quickest ground in the world. So she wouldn't mind it soft, but she'd probably prefer that quicker ground. She's a bit of a slighter type. She's a bit quicker. She springs off the ground a little bit more. I think on a better surface she will be better. I think she's a fantastic horse. I obviously thought she was going to have a good chance, and she stayed on like you said, really. So
just remember, she had the shorter gap from Ascot, whereas Save the Last Dance had a bigger break and a bigger rest from Epsom.
Yeah, and like Warm Heart, I keep saying it. Warm Heart was sent off 7-2 second fav to beat Save the Last Dance, and a Dermot Weld horse who was the evens fav. Ryan Moore was on Warm Heart and wasn't on Save the Last Dance, or was on that was Boogie Woogie. That was Boogie Woogie, but Save the Last Dance was 20-1 and Boogie Woogie 7-2. So like I think when they really fancy one, and Warm. I wasn't really fancy on the weekend kind of thing, and Ribblesdale was backed in a little bit towards the end. So I'll be keeping the faith of by Ryan Moore on Save the Last Dance. Another brilliant ride was Harry Cobden. He was fantastic in the Summer Plate. I thought it was an absolutely mustard ride. And like you just said there off camera before we click record, Johnny Deneen was saying, someone tweeted that he's on fire now. Right, like Harry Cobden's been the best jockey in the UK for probably 2 years at least now. I absolutely love him. I think he's mustard over fences. I think he's an absolute asset to that Ditchit team and that Paul Nicholls squad. And there wouldn't be many more. There wouldn't be probably any more jockeys I want on my horse than
Sean Bourne. I would give a good shout.
Look, you give them a good shout, like Sean Bowen, Johns Jr., like Brian Hughes. You give them a shout, but Harry Cobden probably. If I was like, gun to my head, I'd be like, pick a jock now. I'd be, it's Harry Cobden.
I think different styles though, like Sean Bowen and the likes of Sammy Twist and Davis. They have like they could roll away all day, whereas Cobden, he's bouncing out in the front. He's not. He's not disappointing the horse when it comes to jumping. He's letting them do their own thing. He's almost equestrian style, isn't he? With the jumping. It's two different styles, but born for me anyway.
Harry Cobden is an absolutely mustard jock. We spent plenty of time there. We'll go on to the weekend. Obviously, big weekend coming up. The Group 1 King George, and it's a nice supporting card as well around it. The Group 3 Valiant Stakes is sort of the first race we're going to be taking a look at. It's a 225 at Ascot. Now, it's very interesting what the ground will be like. It's officially good to soft as we record. Could be a little bit of rain tomorrow on Thursday when this video comes up. And there could be a little bit of rain on race day itself. So we don't know what the ground's going to be. I've taken the view that it's going to be a little bit softer conditions, but Grand Dam tops the market in a wide open market, 5-1. Ryan Moore, John and Fady Gosden, Prosperous Voyage in there for Rafe Beckett, 6 years. Random Harvest, Safi Osborne, Ed Walker at 8-1. Villanova Queen the same price. Lee, you've taken one at a bit of a price in this one. What do you fancy for the Valiant Stakes?
I think on big prices all day, Ash, to be honest. Look, it's not one I'd take a massive punt at. I do thought Roman Mist had a chance, beat Zelly, who was a really good French horse at Goodwood. That one's since come to this country, but if the horse can lead, which it's been doing in the last few races as well, only beating a few lengths the last day after tiring at Royal Ascot, I think the ease in the ground will help her, and I think Roman Mist is probably going to be overpriced and overlooked. There's plenty in this. I don't think any are top class, as in Group 1 horses. I would have said maybe some. I'm being a bit harsh on some of them, but the mix between Group 2 and Group 3, and I just think with this being a Group 3, Roman Mist, if the ground comes in her favour, should be overpriced to take each way.
No, big price there, 16-1. I'm taking a sort of similarly big price, although it is actually half the price of yours. Random Harvest for me. Prosperous Voyage is a bit of a cliff horse of mine, but I will never back this horse if there's any sort of soft ground description in the going. I have that pretty much as a rule of thumb. And I think I was watching some TV coverage, and they were talking about, oh, why is Prosperous Voyage a Group 1 winner 11-1 to win the Falmouth? And I think it's just simply because this horse needs just rattling quick ground. And a Random Harvest is one that doesn't. Random Harvest can sort of deal with anything. Was second at Royal Ascot to Rogue Millennium, who I know is a very good horse for Tom Clover. He's always rated that horse. I remember going back a year now, speaking to Tom Clover ahead of the Oaks, and he said, we've got a good chance here of finishing in the top 4, top 5 kind of thing. We're not without a chance. And I thought she was very good in the Duke of Cambridge Stakes, and Random Harvest just a neck behind, beating some decent horses, Prosperous Voyage being one of them, Jumbly being another. Then before that, she finished second to Prosperous Voyage on very decent ground when staying on. That was Prosperous Voyage's, Gold Cup, really, quick ground, Epsom, Frankie Dettori on Derby Day. Need I say more? Getting to 3/4 of the length of that is very good form. And then even going further back was a winner on soft ground over in Italy in a Group 3 over there. So really does have all you'd like for ground reasons. Can do good to firm, can do soft.
Harry will be happy that we're mentioning Italian form anyway.
Oh yeah, the Italian viewers.
He loves the Italian form.
They're in clover after listening to that. But no, look, Random Harvest for me, 8-1. I think is a fair enough price, about a very decent animal. The International Stakes, Lee, a big race at Ascot on the weekend, the big sort of handicap to get stuck into. 36 entries at the moment with a max field of 29. Good luck if you're having a bet. Fresh 6-1. Danny Tudhope, James Fanshawe, Biggles having won at the July meeting at Newmarket. Ryan Moore, Rafe Beckett. Awal was behind Biggles there. Simon Ed Christopher at 10-1. Spangled Mac at the same price. Bigger price about the rest. Go to you first of all. Another massive price, the International Stakes.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna mention my other pick. It's worth having a couple of dots. People might see my selections, for example. I put up maybe 2 in these type of races. It's worth having a saver, or splitting your stakes, I would have said. Look, I think Va14's got a good chance. Second last time to Northern Express, off the same mark, 102. Actually won at Ascot the Victoria Cup off 97, and then ran third in this season's Victoria Cup. Only beat a quarter of a length behind Biggles. That was off 103, so now off 102, a pound lower, and was only just beaten third there. So likes the course. I think the trip's spot on for it, and Va14 will be my second choice. But I do like Ramazan for Richard Fahey, who's in cracking form of late. He's had plenty of winners. I think it's 8 in the last fortnight. But off 97, a very low weight, 8-8. I think it's 27th on the list. It actually got chucked in the deep end on its second start in the Windsor Castle of last season behind Little Big Bear. I've been running in Class 2s and stuff. This season, it's won off 94 last time out, over 7 furlongs. It didn't quite handle the mail of the Britannia. It hung left and was only beaten 6 lengths. That was 2 starts back. But last time out, over 7 furlongs off 97. I think that's still a fair mark that it's on now. And over a course that it's handled and a trip that's probably suits best, I think, Ramazan is probably the one I'd take at a low weight.
Very nice, 25-1 about that. So you can't really be complaining with that one. Similarly to you, I have 2 fancies that I'm interested in. There's one at a shorter price, and it's not going to really blow your socks off. But Biggles has only got an extra £3, having pretty much danced in the Bunbury Cup. Ran to an RPR of 113. It's only got a £3 penalty for that. Ryan Moore's back on. This horse doesn't mind good to soft, doesn't mind heavy, doesn't mind decent ground. I think it's just a very solid horse. Typical Rafe Beckett type that can just collect up these handicaps in quick succession. And, I think he's still well handicapped. 13-2. That's a fair enough price for me. Taking one 11-1, though, as my main fancy is Barada, Ammo Racing, George Bowie, Kevin Stott already chopped up, which is fantastic to see. What's interesting to me is Barada actually beat Biggles 4 starts back at Doncaster, November 2022. Was giving was in receipt, sorry, of £6 that day, and won really comfortably on heavy ground over at Doncaster. There's now a £7 split in the weight, so still effectively, got the beating of Biggles on official ratings. Then started this season in the Lincoln, and I think if Kevin Stott had his time again, he could have won this race. I watched it again today, and I backed Migration, so my blinkers were firmly on Benoit de la Sayette, but Barada sort of got to the front. It's a moment Kevin Stott asked to go. He goes, "Oh, hang on a second, this is too early." Takes another pull and then goes again, and by that point he gets overtaken by Migration and Awal as well, for first and second, and he's sort of staying on there in third. I think he had his time again. Also, it was at a mile. This horse been running predominantly over 7 furlongs. Now that was over a mile, so I'd say that if he had his time again, he could have run better. Then run at Ascot and run a decent race in the Victoria Cup again on proper bottomless ground, but still run a good race, having sort of had not the easiest run through. I pretty much dwelt at the start and didn't really go a yard in the early stages, and then did well from where he was. I think the soft ground will be no issue there. Hopefully it's good to soft, because I think that's sort of what he does really really need. Completely put a line through Royal Ascot, because that was on good firm ground, and I tend to put a line through any Royal Ascot form on the basis of the last meeting. And I'll be with Barada for me at 11-1. We'll then go on to the big race, Lee, the Group 1 King George Stakes. King George the VI Stakes and Queen Elizabeth Quitco Stakes, I should say, the full title. There we go. Massive race. There's 15 runners. Really pin to the dartboard, see what you land on. Auguste Rodin 4-1 for a 2-time Derby winner, 4-1 top of the market. Hookham in there, same price. King of Steel, the same price. Emily Upjohn 11-2. Desert Crown 13-2. Last year's winner 7-1. Then it's a big jump 20s to Luxembourg, same price for Westover. Bigger about the rest. Lee, what do you make of the King George?
Well, if Kevin Stott can win the last race, that big handicap will be sky high with confidence going into this one for King of Steel. Look, they get the weight for age allowance. King of Steel, Auguste Rodin, but whether Auguste Rodin just went to the well too many times, I'm unsure. Last time out, only just beat Adelaide River, who is declared to go in this again. Adelaide River is massively overpriced. I would have said, I don't know if it's around 33s or so, but to be just touched off, and we've had the debate, and plenty of people have mentioned little Shamey's ride and whether Adelaide could have won or not. Look, that's a debate gone in the past, but to be that overpriced, one's 11-4, one's 33s or whatever it is, I think that one's overpriced, Adelaide River, to be fair. I'm not really keen on the likes of Hookham. Just not a horse that does it for me. And that Brigadier Gerard, where he beat Desert Crown, I thought Desert Crown should have won. That also puts me off him because he's had a bit of a rushed prep for this race. The two of them have kind of scratched off, which is probably one of them's going to go and win now. But I think Hookham's short. Is it when favourite now, I think?
Joint fav. So
yeah, I feel like it's short for horse. Look, he's a top class horse, but I just think take them two out with the Brigadier Gerard, there was nothing in behind. Look, Emily Upjohn, she's got a chance. She was behind Paddington the last day, given weight. Maybe if she was a bit closer, things could have been different. But I think Paddington kind of always held her. And just again, I don't know if this race is going to suit. She did bomb out in this race last season. It was when getting the weight allowance, and that comes down to the other one that bombed out. So one of my main fancies is Westover. I just think the horse takes a lot of winding up. The gears need cranking, as they say, and he was actually behind Emily Upjohn at Epsom, and I just think with a different raid, he would have been a lot closer. She comes sweeping down the outside, used her kick, whereas I feel like he needs that stoking along and using the stamina more. So I think he could have been a lot closer. And the last day, he won the Group 1, the Grand Prix de Saint Cloud, beating a horse that he had already beaten when second to Equinox in the Shima Classic. I thought that was a solid race. let us check. What was the horse that won the Prince of Wales this year? It went out my head. The Hamdam horse.
Mostardaf.
Yes, Mostardaf was actually behind Westover in, I think, 4th or 5th. It was actually a good race. One of them had been second in a Japan Cup. That horse was 5th in the race. It was a strong race. He come flying from the back to try and catch Equinox, and that obviously wasn't going to be the case. And again, last time he rallied and won it gamely by a few lengths. I just think the race might pan out to suit Westover. I don't think you wanted too soft, so if it got heavier, I would scratch him off maybe. But like good to soft would be fine for him. And I'll give a quick shout as well. Simca Milde, I think it is, the French horse. I think that one's overpriced. Not being run in top class races, but again, I think trip and everything will suit that one. So there's 3 against the field that the bigger prices. I'll take Adelaide River, Simca Mill as a backup, but I think Westover is a good each way play.
This is absolute wonderland for viewers of the Only Fools Love Horses YouTube channel, because I'm about to say my strongest 2 fans to the race, and they're both fancies that Lee likes. I think Westover's got a great chance. I really don't think you can. I don't think that you can batter his form at all, really. Like apart from absolutely bombing out in this race, and that was a bomb out. Like, if you could describe one, that was it. Like finishing 6th in an arc on very soft ground, and then going to Maidan, finish 2nd to Equinox, when you can say that they sort of like, I don't know, maybe they had, this was like the starting point kind of thing, and let's move on from this. That Mostazaf in 4th is great form, really, and that Equinox win that Equinox is an absolute brilliant horse. Westover was then 2nd in Coronation Cup. You'd say maybe Rob Hornby with another chance might ride slightly different. A proper stayer against a quick horse, and Emily Upjohn coming down that hill kind of thing. I think Emily Upjohn's got first run and then went away, really. And Westover was staying on, but Emily Upjohn had got the kick and gone a couple lengths clear and couldn't, Westover couldn't get her back, sorry. And Emily Upjohn's gone and ran a fantastic race in what was it now, in Paddington, in the Eclipse. And I'd probably say I rate Paddington higher than Auguste Rodin. So on that pure form, I think that the Westover has to have a great chance. Then great prep, winning a Group 1. I say a prep, winning a Group 1 in prep for this. Last time out when doing enough and staying on well at the finish on good soft ground. I think he's a bit more ground versatile than people potentially think. He wouldn't want it bottomless. I don't think he wants it, rattling quick, but anywhere between sort of decent ground and good to soft. I think that's fine for him. I think he's overpriced in a race where I really went in circles about Auguste Rodin or King of Steel. It's a mini Denman.
You could pick 10. You could pick 10 horses, really.
It's a fantastic race. And the sport needs more of this. And Auguste Rodin, King of Steel, I did go in circles trying to work it out. Very much a mini Corto Star Denman kind of thing, coming down similar paths and stuff. But the main one for me is Sim Camille. I think got a great chance here at 25 to 1. Especially if the ground says are good to soft. Would really love that when some others might just find it a little bit to their disadvantage. Was a good run last time out to win the Group 2 Grand Prix de Chantilly, beating Curtis of Andre Farbs. Really good run. Gave £2 to the second and gave, doing my maths now in my head, £6 to the third. Was a really, really good race there. Even before that was second in the Prix Gannet, was the race that Bay Bridge was completely plotted out for and finished third, and Verdini was plotted out for that race as well, went off Fav, finished fourth. That Iracine was the horse that won. Sim Camille did beat that horse the time before and just maybe got to the front a little bit too soon, and under Alexis Pouchan, and with maybe a different ride could have won that, having beaten the horse the time before. It's even second to Ernesto in the Grand Prix de Paris 2022. beating El Boldigon, Eldar Eldarov, the future St. Ledger winner kind of thing, in Longchamp in July. So, look, I think Sim Camille's got a great chance, and in a race where I couldn't work out the top of the market, I was very much happy to take two classy animals who provide value because there are younger opponents at the top of the market. I thought it was a great stat. Who was it? It was Matt Brottlebank on Twitter. A great follow if you don't already. The Sporting Life Value tipster. He said that we love an up and comer in this game because I think 14 or there's like I wouldn't want to be able to quote it now, but there's like a lot of Group 1 winners in here. Pretty much all the fields won a Group 1 bar, maybe like 4 or 5 of them. And yet the one that was at the top of the market at the time he put the tweet out was King of Steel, who's yet to win a Group 1. I thought that was a great tweet.
I think the weight for age does really. I feel like you've got to be bullish and bold to say, look, King of Steel or Auguste Rodin will win this. At them prices, I think they're both 11-4 joints. I think they've drifted slightly and Hookham's come in, but you have to say, look, and be ballsy and say, this is what I fancy. If you're going for one of them, that's why probably we're both the same. Would rather take a big price each way, which would hopefully, definitely has a chance of winning, but can at least reach the frame at a bigger price. But whereas them, you've got to be indefinite to say, look, this is going to win, if you know what I mean.
For me, I'd say if I was having one of them, it would be King of Steel, I think. He's a massive horse, and what makes it for me is his racing weight will be 812. So obviously he receives the weight from everyone, but 812 is clearly the lowest weight he's carried. At 6 pounds below. 4 pounds below his last racing weight, the last 2 starts, and he's just an absolute tank. He's an absolute tank. That'll be like a feather on his back, and then Kevin Stott's just like a backpack kind of thing. Like he'll just be running free, and like he's a gorgeous horse now. But I'd take him at the top. But for me, yeah, two against the field, like you. In Sim Camille and Westover. We'll quickly skirt on over to York for the final race we're covering. It is the York Stakes Group 2. I was completely stung last year. I was all in as all in could be on Dubai Honor, and I was beaten by Mostadaf, who went on to do better things than I thought he could do. And William Haggis, Tom Marcon could be doing it again this year. 7-4, My Prospero topping the market. Nation's Pride 4-1, having been out in Maidan and doing globetrotting left, right, and centre. Alflalia in there for Owen Burrows. Andrea Atzeni 9-2. Andrea Atzeni on a Shadwell horse. Don't see that too often. Royal Champion 9-2. Bigger price to the rest. Lee, what do you fancy?
It's a tricky race to work out. My Prospero was kind of best in on the ratings, but has bombed out a few times. I thought should have been a lot closer the last day in the Prince of Wales. It was a tough race. The winners won easy. I just thought had every chance and didn't do the business kind of thing. I know you're probably at the bottom of a cliff with this horse at some point, but look, I just think it's a little bit skinny for me. Alflaila is a good horse, but I would say it needs to step up again. Dubai Mail, I would give a chance to. First time for Freddie and Martin Mead. Used to be with Charlie Johnson, has won a Group 1, beaten the rest over in St. Cloud, I think it was, last season. So it's already a Group 1 winner. It's running the Derby and stuff like that. If Freddie and Martin Mead can get this horse back, it's definitely got a good shout, and it doesn't really need to come back as such. It's only had a few bad runs, but it's an interesting run our first time out for the Meads. So that would be maybe me save on the race, but I have took a chance on Check and Challenge. Only had one shot at 1 mile 2 the last day. Had been beaten 5 lengths in a Lockinge, then went 1 mile 2 in the Wolferton Stakes, the listed race at Royal Ascot. Only beaten 5 lengths again, but was kind of closest at the line. Sometimes that's a tricky race to work out, but always does the best work staying on. And look, just at a massive price, I just thought Check and Challenge, I'd take the chance, and Dubai Mail will be the saver.
This could be one hell of an acca if all of these come in, Lee. I tell you, the price.
I need to get on now, to be fair, to get all these prices. I'm not on yet, but I'll have an each way lucky, I think.
20s, 20s, 25 and 16s. Incredible display
Well,
from you.
look, I'll not be coming back on this pod if that all left
Yeah. No, look, I'm all in on my Prospero here. Or my Prospero, sorry, correct pronunciation.
You know
Yeah.
what? I could have guessed this anyway.
Oh, look, Denise has already taken my money, and it's not even Wednesday. Like it's geez, now like I was stung by Debayona last year, completely stung, but I was done by Debayona, who in hindsight is he as good as I thought he was? Probably not, but he still is a decent horse, and he was done by Mostadaf. So like, is there a Mostadaf? Genuinely, is there a Mostadaf in here? I don't think so. Like Royal Champion won at Ascot, but beating Bolshoi Ballet by a length and a quarter. No. Nation's Pride, yes, was third in a what are we now in a Dubai Turf, but like Lord North winning that kind of thing, and I don't know if that form's really worth the paper it's printed on, and like and then winning a Group 3 by a length and a quarter over in Meydan before that. Yeah, I wouldn't be sure about Lord North's form now, and look, to be honest, if I had my Prospero against Lord North, I'd be with my Prospero. So like on that basis, Nation's Pride losing by a length to that, I've got to be taking it on. First start over in the UK as well for Charlie Appleby. First start since being globe trotting. I'd be very much in the my Prospero camp here. Form speaks for itself. A bit disappointing last time out, but was kind of staying on at the line, doing best work kind of thing, and even before that at Newbury was staying on well in the Lockinge. This should be. Am I going to say it? Should be a penalty kick, really. If it's the horse, I think it is.
The rest of these look that they're between a rock and a hard place. It's hard to get these Group 1 wins, so they've got to drop back to this. My Prospero is probably the only one who could go and win a Group 1, if you know what I mean. But I just think it's very short because it's often a muddling race. That's why I've took the two bigger prices. But I definitely see the case for my Prospero. Or how do you say it again, May?
It's just my Prospero. You take out the air. There you go. Lydia Hislop had everyone on that on Twitter.
Haggis is in a cracking form as well.
Yeah. Tom Marquand, the best jockey. Obviously, he'll be bouncing from riding Autumn Angel to victory at Bath, and he'll roll onto my Prospero and win on the weekend. Anything else to mention, Lee, from the weekend? If not, a nap.
Nothing to mention. No other horses I would have said, but Ramazan I'd take as my nap. It's in the big handicap, but look, I'll be ballsy. I think it's an each way price. You can get them extra places. Definitely shop around for them. You get probably at least 6 in some places for a 30 runner handicap or whatever it is. Is it 29 can go? Maybe is that?
Yes.
29. So 29. Look, 29 runners at Ascot is a minefield, but I think Ramazan has got a really good chance of a low weight, and at that price, it's definitely worth taking each way.
Yeah, no, decent shout there. I wonder who my nap would be. My Prospero is the nap this weekend.
You'd normally slate us if we took a short price nap.
Look, I got stung last year. I can tell you exactly the place I was sat actually when watching it. I was sat in the press room of Evesham United, watching them lose 2-0 and thinking, Jesus, now let's have Debayona save my weekend. And I just saw the blue colours of Shadwell steam on by, and I was a very, very sad boy. So yeah, my Prospero 7-4 is the nap. Lovely stuff. That's all we got time for, Lee. Before we finish, we've got a massive competition running that's ending this week, so you need to get stuck on into it.
Yeah, it ends on Saturday, the competition. You just got to go on the Only Fools Love Horses Twitter page. It's pinned to there. It tells you all the details. So you just got to share, so retweet it, and also tag a friend as well, and you get entered in the competition. It's for 3 shares in a Claymore Racing horse. So it's with Cameron Sword. He set up Claymore Racing, but he's famous for Corrick Rambler. He part owns Corrick Rambler, the Grand National winner, and the horse is in training with Lucinda Russell and Michael Scudamore. So it's a cracking competition. There's 3 shares, also 3 caps along with them shares to give away. So pin to the Only Fools of Horses page, share, retweet, and tag.
That's all you have to do. Like, share, retweet, and tag. That's all you need to do. You're in with a
Sleep,
chance.
rave, repeat, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what. Did you say rave there? Eat, sleep, rave, repeat.
Rave, repeat. That's
Rave.
the song, isn't it?
Rave. I just thought it was just eat, sleep, work, repeat, or something, or like back. I've always eat, sleep, back.
In Newcastle, maybe it's eat, sleep, rave, repeat.
Yeah. Round here, it's eat, sleep, back, Tony Carroll horses, and then repeat. That's the one that's on the wall as you walk into the house. So yeah, that's all you got to do for the competition. Fantastic competition ending this weekend, and that's what we've got time for this video. We'll be back 10:30 a.m. on Saturday on Twitter to be looking at our final fancies for King George Day. Fingers crossed we'll find some winners for you. And if you're not already looking at it, make sure to go check out the Which Bookie column we're doing on a daily basis on the weekdays. We landed 2 Trixies last weekend, so the P&L's looking healthy. So make sure to take a look there. We even landed a winner today, and that was courtesy of Lee's fancy. So well done, good sir.
We're ahead in half a length off the treble again. Like
I know.
It was so close. But we do have actually. We'll give a little hint that we do have some news coming out on the 1st as well of August. But
yes,
we'll keep it a secret.
We have some big news, so stick around. But yeah, no, very close to the Trixie today. Hopefully, you'll land one in the next couple of days. If you are having a bet on our fancies, please do gamble responsibly, and we'll see you very, very soon for another video.